Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. And we are here with the Crowcast. We got Blacksea, Coin Baron, and Oscar Ramos. The whole crew is back. We are long overdue on one of these, saying we got to get these going on a more regular basis. But figured the timing's great to come back because we have this Crow coin pump happening. We've been chatting. We got to get together, and here we are. An incredible week for news. If you've been watching the Crow charts, it's been incredible. So let's chat a little bit about, boys, the big stories that are going on, the price action. And we were kind of chatting before this, there's a lot happening in the crypto market. I think we'll chat Crow, we'll chat general market news stories and go through all of it. Blacksea, how you doing, brother? Anything new happening with you?
Yeah, I think that it's a very exciting time. It's been quite a long road with Crowcoin and Crypto.com, and I think that we're finally starting to see some excitement, and I think that we're just getting started. I think that we're going to see this really snowball into something really massive here, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's never been a more exciting time to be in the Cronos ecosystem and be a Crowcoin holder.
How you doing, Coin Baron?
I'm feeling absolutely euphoric. I woke up and I saw prices like back in 2021, and we've been talking about this token because we believe in it and because we feel the fundamentals of the project, just fitting, and it finally paying out just so freaking good. So I'm happy the band is back together, right?
The band is back. Oscar Ramos in the house. How you doing, man? How about this Crow pump?
How you doing, everybody? Honestly, I think it's been just a phenomenal, much deserved payoff, I think, for a lot of people who bought, and profit taking too, right? As you can tell, because that's allowed. That's okay. For a lot of people who bought at the 20 cents or so today, they're like, should I sell? Questions, comments, and everything as we have served in matter of entertainment purposes only on YouTube. I'm happy to see the community back together as far as CRO. I'm happy to see Chris speaking about CRO and chilling CRO in a way. And I think everything so far, as you're showing right now on the screen, the pumps that we're seeing, I think we hope it's not going to be a pump and dump chart pattern as we have seen in the past, but that this can actually continue and bring the gang and even more people, more eyeballs, right, to what Crypto.com is about.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty exciting because usually when we look at Crowcoin, like Oscar, what you said, like sometimes a lot of these pumps kind of get just smacked down immediately, but I think that we are moving towards a little bit of a different ecosystem, and with Crowcoin getting integrated with Trump's DJT, I think that maybe there won't be as much of the sell pressure whenever we get a pump. And yeah, like you said, I will never profit shame somebody for taking profits. Everyone should take profits along the way. No one went broke taking profits, all those sayings that you hear. But I think that nowadays, with this big, huge news, I mean, it's hard, like Baron, it's hard not to be euphoric because this is absolutely massive. And I don't really know how there could be even a bigger news piece than this. And I think that it's going to create some more stability for Cronos and just accumulating Crowcoin. The president's company is accumulating Crowcoin, like mind blowing.
Yeah, I had joked about this potentially happening, and the way that I joked about it, I remember I was on an anniversary trip with my wife and I was swimming in a lake doing a video about Crow, and I said, like, even if the president, like, I don't know, imagine if like the president bought Crow or something, which, like, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe that's a crazy example. And like 2 weeks later, like it happened. And what I said about it though was looking at, the chart, like, even if that happened, unless the broader market was pumping, it probably couldn't get some kind of sustained pump. I had these two levels. I was just kind of curious if you guys had some levels for Crow, or if you think this can keep blasting like now with this news, or what my thought was if Bitcoin's not, continuing a rise, and we've kind of found a little resistance for Bitcoin, and like if ETH can't break out, then Crow should have some trouble with either I was kind of saying this level or this level, and it's crazy. We actually like really hit this one. But does anybody like have a thought as to that? I mean, do you think I'm wrong? Like, do you think it's coming through 37 cents here? Like, can we keep going?
I like the I think that coming down to back to 212 is definitely possible. But I also think that this hype is still going. And I think that there's a good chance. Like we've been talking about on the crypto report for a while now that if we could just break and hold over 15 cents, we were probably going straight to 212. And we went straight to it and went straight through it. And I do think that, yeah, some pullbacks probably would be a good thing. We don't want to just go straight up, because when you go just straight up, usually the correction is really brutal and a lot of people get hurt from FOMOing in at the top. But I want to see the stair step up. I think a correction to 212 is definitely possible, if not probable. Now, that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you guys from my situation, looking at the market, looking at CRO, I do think that there's a possibility of us retesting that level at 212. But regardless, I see strength, and I think that we're probably going to continue this move to the upside.
Yeah, I also think actually we might be getting soon to 50 cents. And I don't even know if we will get a retracement, because what I personally feels like the company and Chris is completely making a 180% switch, because I've seen, I think, 2 tweets from Chris the whole summer. And I think he made like 20 tweets in the last 24 hours alone. So it's not only Chris, but also the whole company showing left and right campaigns, 212. It's starting a bit of a movement, I feel, and they want to actually bring us to next levels. I also like to remind you guys that, like, in the previous AMA in April, and nobody believed him, but Chris was mentioning, like, we should be talking dollars, not cents. And for the first time in a long time, I actually might think, yeah, this is making a lot of sense, actually.
Dude, he has been bull posting like crazy. I pulled up a few of his tweets. Yeah, I mean, this talking about Cronos TVL, and we got to come back to Cronos TVL, but he's just been posting about everything, right? We saw him calling out that it's finally it's in the top 20. Now it's ranked number 12. He's talking about TVL. He's even like reposting, which of course he should do, right? One of the spokespeople, Devin Nunes, who has been around for a while, is a part of the Truth Social team and speaking to this partnership. We were talking about this interview. This interview was insane. One of the quotes from it: "We need to work with companies like Crypto.com with tokens that American people can trust." I mean, this is the president's company talking about a token that American people can trust. And there's like so many other gems of little things that he says here that are like insanely bullish. And of course, Chris is tweeting it out, but like, it's so good to see. I love your point, Coin Baron, because like CZ, right? I mean, CZ was bull posting like crazy when he was before prison times, but everybody kind of wanted to see Chris do that. And he's finally doing it. And he's doing it on the back of this insane bullish news. This interview blew my mind.
Maybe for anyone that hasn't seen this interview yet, like, do you have any like major gems of this interview which you find like really, really important that everyone should know about?
I mean, there's a lot of quotes in here. I'm trying to think back to some of the specific, but he like called out the CRO token like explicitly, and he did at the end of the interview. He says like he wants it to stay around forever. Like, I think he used the term like he wants CRO to stay around forever. And so like this is a partnership between Crypto.com and the Truth Social team to do this, basically this strategic reserve of CRO. This is a company designed literally to hold CRO. And the purpose of it is because Truth Social wants to use it as a utility token forever. You know, they want to stick around. They want to use it forever. You may not like the president. You may not like a social media platform, but like this is a huge story. Like this is a company from the president that's talking about keeping a token around forever. They wanted to work with something they trust. Like, if anybody hasn't seen this interview, I reposted it on X. It's all over X. You can find it. Go to Chris's page, find it. Like it's a must listen to if you want to get an idea as to how real and serious and exciting this partnership is. It's the reason we're skyrocketing today. It's long overdue, but it's the reason. It's the catalyst. But is this pump sustainable still? Like, or
Look,
are we retracing? I don't know. I don't know.
I was gonna mention about the we're talking about Chris and posting, and a lot of the times as content creators, we are tagged as, "Oh, you're posting this because the price is pumping," but when the price is not pumping, then um, why are you so quiet? Or I mean, obviously chilling when things are green, but not when things are boring. Maybe in a way, I know Chris Mars, like the CEO. He likes to see the crow price up. Many different reasons. He owns a bunch. Obviously, he won't tell us, but he owns a bunch, and I would dare to say billions of crow. Maybe CDC as a company and him personally. So he knows he's not dumb. He's very smart cookie, and he knows that one tweet or bullish content from him is just gonna go and reinforce what everyone is having on their mind. That's why with the 212 movement that I saw a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's no coin, there's no meme, there's nothing behind it, just us trying even before the news. So it's like the crypto.com army was kind of ready for something like this. It was warming up to the scenario of we got to stand together, and whoever doesn't get, it's fine. You're still welcome, but you just have to be kind of all in mentality that we're going to be here no matter what. Then late days later, and so boom, we get the news, and that's checked the entire crypto community, and obviously on all major outlets, Watch Guru predominantly. And once you see that from 15, 12 cents or so that we were, right, immediately shooting all the way to 20 cents. And from 20 cents, we stayed there for a few hours and then days, and then all the way to 30, even almost 40 cents. So I think we have the CEO on board, and we're going to have the Trump. I was telling this to my community actually very, very recently, that in a way, CRO is becoming this MAGA coin, right? Where obviously politics aside, but still, like when we talk about Trump and Trump Truth Social, World Liberty Financial, USD1, and all of that, that it's Trump related. Could he now say that Crow could become a little bit of Crow related? Because out of all the exchanges, even in the US, selecting crypto.com, singling crypto.com, that you just have to look at the facts and say, okay, why? Well, there's a bunch of conversations that we still don't know. When they met that time, took the picture, I'm sure that they shared some conversations about Crow ETF, then it happened. Then Truth Social Crypto.com partnership, then it happened. And now this, you helping us with a Crow strategic reserve. Crow strategic reserve. Like we only heard that for Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe Solana or XRP, but now CRO only with Truth Social, because Chris is betting all the chips with the president of the United States. In no way I see him doing that with under Biden or under Kamala Harris. He waited, he won, and he feels the same when it comes to the economy and crypto as Trump, and that's so good. And as Trump is starting his administration, and even if we continue a Trump Republican administration in 2028, guys, I only see upside, respecting the cycles, but I only see upside because not cents, but dollars, crypto.com CRO coin. And you just saw what happened on DeFi. And I know I'm getting ahead, but I'm just going to touch it just for a second. You saw what happened in DeFi. And CoinBarrow was like, oh, push, right? We'll get to that. But I think, guys, if you are looking at CRO and saying, oh, we're dumping, it's over, you really don't know the game. You're very early, but welcome, because we're here for you.
Let me jump in really quick. Yes, to the point of DeFi, those of you guys that might not have been paying attention, Cronos, I think, was down in the 1920s region in terms of its rank and total value locked up in its DeFi ecosystem, right? Just bringing it back in time for folks that might be playing catch up with crypto.com. Crypto.com had the Crypto.com token. We rebranded to CRO, and that was with an intention to support the Cronos chain, which they developed this Cronos chain at the peak of last bull market. And one thing we've all been struggling with in the Cronos ecosystem is no activity, no excitement around the Cronos chain. And this story is a great catalyst, to your point, to get people excited about the Cronos chain and maybe bringing more users into the space. And so we've seen the Cronos chain climb. Chris tweeted about it, as we showed earlier. So just a quick bit on that. Blacksea, did you have a thought? We were talking a little bit about the president and Chris. I think you have a few things to say.
Yeah, I think, well, there's a couple things I want to say. First off, when it comes to the tokenomics of Cronos and CROcoin, there's a lot of financial jujitsu, if you will, happening with it. A lot of locking up staking rewards and increasing sell pressure, increasing buy pressure. There's a lot of that going on. But in regards to the president, Chris Marszalek, yeah, I mean, Chris is obsessed with Donald Trump, and that's okay, because I think that that is the right way to be going to make Crypto.com great again, if you will. And I think that with that interview that we saw, what we were talking about earlier, one key point that they said is they loved Crypto.com's branding. It was a trusted exchange, and the token is going to be here for longevity purposes. Like, it's going to be here forever, and they want a coin that would be lasting. And those are just some like snippets that are absolutely massive. Now, when it comes to the tokenomics of Cronos, a lot's going on right now. DeFi, the TVL is going up and up and up, and I love to see that. On top of that, right, you have all these people that have their Crypto.com debit cards, and they're staking their CROcoin, they're getting rewards. Semi-recently, in 2025, the rewards you get go back into your staking pool. You cannot sell that quote-unquote interest, if you will, your staking rewards. It just keeps accumulating. So that is pulling sell pressure off of the tokenomics, right? It's pulling supply off the chain. And then on top of that, you also have the 70 billion minting of coins. So there's a lot of pull, push. And on top of that now, though, we have a CROcoin treasury integrated with Donald Trump. So there's a lot going on with the tokenomics. And I challenge you to think about where Crypto.com's mind is. And Chris Marszalek is bull posting CROcoin nonstop. He has a vision, and it's going to be to make CROcoin move up in price. I know that we've had a lot of questionable moments where we're like, well, like, does Crypto.com even support CROcoin anymore? They're distancing themselves. Chris Marszalek only posts about CRO when it's going up, like what Oscar was saying. But all in all, I'm starting to see the vision. And back when we saw the 70 billion minting of coins, I was saying, I hope I eat my words. I hope I'm wrong. And, it does seem to look like, I will never not say I'm wrong if I feel like I'm wrong. And I do think that there's a world here where Chris knows what he's doing. The 70 billion minting of coins is a plus. And maybe without that, we wouldn't have seen this partnership with DJT and Truth Social. Maybe we wouldn't see this CROcoin treasury. I'm going to view it as a positive, and I'm going to continue to watch how this plays out.
It really is an ultimate game of chess for like the first pro crypto president for like the biggest, strongest nation on earth steps into power, and the CEO of this exchange like cozies right up, and we were talking earlier, me and Blacksea, and it's like the AMA. Honestly, I just saw snippets of the AMA. If anybody has any bits from the AMA, by the way, I actually admittedly still need to go watch the whole thing through, but I did see a little bit of it. And I just chuckled because in the background of Chris in the AMA is like not just one photo, but like 3 different photos of him with the president or like in the White House. Cause like, it's a huge win. Like, it's a huge look at what this has done, and obviously the president likes to be like loved by people, and he's got a big supporter in Chris. And so here they are buying each other's stock and coins. And it's unbelievable that we're here, really, fellas. I'm kind of in awe. But one thing I said about the Cronos chain is like, it's not over to the fat lady sings. We were all kind of down in the dumps about it. And we're seeing some progress. I don't know. I mean, like, we have a lot on the roadmap, right? But we didn't have this on the roadmap. And it makes you wonder, like, what the heck else might not be on this roadmap? I don't know, but I do know we got stable coins coming. We just had the stablecoin legislation come through. We're still waiting on a crypto.com stablecoin. My imagination goes to, like, what clever thing are they going to do with this stablecoin next? That is going to be so interesting to see. Probably integrating into True Social, I'd imagine, somehow.
Coin Baron, do you have something to add? Because I know you've been cooking. I mean, something.
Yeah, this one is actually quite interesting. So what needs to be in Europe, at least for stable coins, they need a MiCA compliant license. And recently they got the trademark for the logo for 1S1C. So 1S1C is the logo, or the issuer really of a stable coin. The projected name is going to be USD1. But that one is a bit iffy because I don't know if you guys know, but the Trump company, I think World Liberty Finance, does also have a USD1 stable coin. So whatever the name is going to be, I don't know, but it is getting approval now in the EU. It already has all the licenses checked. So I don't know exactly how it works in the US because you guys just had a new, it's the Genius Act. I don't know how it's called, but it's getting ready in the EU. And I think it's finalizing now in the US. So it is mentioned, I think, for Q3 on the roadmap. So the last month is coming very soon.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, as far as stable coins, I think for us that was a big one, and for Ripple, for Circle and Tether, and even banks. I mean, I'm sure that you guys heard that banks are also thinking about creating their own. So that's huge. And obviously, we had the 360 pump, we had the 120 something pump for Bitcoin, and Ethereum was kind of like on the fence and it was not moving. But then, like, is Ethereum dead or so? And then everybody ate the rewards, right, with Tom Lee and pushing all the way to 5,000, almost 5,000. It was so beautiful to see. But now, market structure bill, the Clarity Act, that's the one that I'm waiting for. And honestly, for the Genius Act, it was a whole week. I got destroyed, but we got some incredible, people joining us and watching with us. You guys have to be ready for that one too, because it's gonna happen sometime in the fall, and it's just gonna be an unbelievable when he signs that, because Clarity Act, it really helps everybody. What's security, what's commodity, what's not, what's this, what goes to the CFTC. Because I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the Crypto on the Road, the SEC Crypto Roundtable on the Road, because I've been watching those. I've been listening to the SEC, to the CFTC, to Paul Atkins, and even obviously to the Fed. That's another conversation. But they're providing and they're letting experts come and tell the SEC what to do and how to handle things. And you can listen and you can hear, people saying, well, what is really Ethereum and what is this and what is that? So once we have that clarity, I think even CRO can have what people need and then push it, right? Now knowing that, let's say if somebody wants to be a supporter of, I'll give you this one. You see how we have different categories, right? Solana, Memecoins, AI, whatever, topic it is, RWA, exchanges. How about there's one saying Trump? Or and once you click Trump, what are the coins that you're gonna get? Well, obviously Trump coin, Melania, USD1, grow. If that happens, which look, I'm not seeing the future, but if that actually happens, which is a possibility because of Truth Social and everything that's going on, ladies and gents, CRO is going to go ballistic, because now we are helping CRO. And this is not going to happen with Binance, because I think Binance is really wanting to come to the US, obviously the main global exchange, but it's not happening yet. But crypto.com is just eating up the whole market share. That's helping everybody who is obviously holding CRO. And I'm excited, for builders. This is something that I was telling in one of the spaces that we had. I'm excited for the builders of the Cronos chain, that they've been desperately needing something like this, because I know some of them, right? I talked to them when I went to Singapore last year Well, they make money with fees. They make money when people stake, and they make money when people buy, and NFTs and all of that, builders. So they're not the ones pushing for the pump, but they're the ones working behind the scenes. And it's been a dry summer sometimes for them, and even early 2025. But finally, I think this can really help tons of people and set us for a nice altcoin season.
Yeah, it's kind of like a chicken or the egg, right? For developers, it's kind of like, on one hand, you're not going to have developers come to the ecosystem unless it's thriving, or on the other hand, you need the price to go up to get people to want to go there, but also you kind of want to be early as a developer to be there before the rush comes so that you can stand out. And so you're sitting here like wondering as a developer, I'm sure, and I'm not a developer, but is the chain going to pump? And this has got to be an exciting time for those folks. And really quick, and I'm going to pass this to somebody else to say something, but if you guys enjoy this content from Oscar, from Coin Baron, myself, and Blacksea, this is the Crypto Report. This is my and Blacksea's channel. Coin Baron has a fantastic channel. Oscar has an excellent channel as well. That is in the description of this video. You guys should go subscribe right now and come back and watch the rest of this thing. And we are going to get into, I think, some broader market theory in a second. And I kind of want to talk about general crypto news, because if you're worried about CROcoin, and that's obviously what we're focused on here, you kind of have to be in the know with the rest of the market. I'm going to give the stage to anybody, but I think we'd be remiss if maybe we didn't talk about the DEX screener memes, talking about developers, talking about the ecosystem of Cronos. Is anything exciting going on in your minds right now? Does anybody have an opinion on any of that right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think, thank you, Crypto Kid. Appreciate it, buddy. And subscribe to Coin Crypto Report for sure. Soon 100,000 subscribers like Coin Baron. I'm always saying it. Guys, I mean, if you held some of the meme coins, you're making a lot of money. I have some Ryoshi, Push, and a few other ones, and Veno Finance. That's a good one because I'm staking my CRO on Veno Finance. That's pretty nice. So I like the liquid staking, right, where you stake your CRO and you get another token yield bearing token, which you can immediately use and continue earning more, right? Or you can just go to the crypto.com app and put it right there, or you can just go to a validator. This is the Cronos chain. I mean, and the crypto.com POS allows you to do many things. But when it comes to the memes, as you can tell in the last 24 hours, I'm seeing 90%, 53%, 24%, 50. So there's an abundance. And people are, of course, selling because they're like, finally, here's a pump. I'm out, which that makes total sense. Or just, let's go. I'm making money. Maybe things are going to get better. So it just provides a nice liquid environment like Solana of people wanting to build, have some coins. Watch out with the scams and rug pulls and all of that, of course, because it's going to come. But just enjoy and have some fun.
Yeah, I think that I've been preaching for a while that I think that the wintertime Q4 is when we should be expecting things to get frothy again. When you couple that with the Federal Reserve moving to quantitative easing potentially, and all the rate cuts, the M2 money supply has just been increasing and increasing. There's more liquidity that's coming. And usually crypto just tends to perform best in the wintertime. And I think that now is a good time to be starting to look for those potential memes. We've been talking about memes, and but to Oscar's point, guys, you got to take profit. You got to take profit and also have fun with it. And I would say definitely don't invest more money than you're willing to lose, because meme coins can be a flash in the pan, or they can be something that becomes a culture coin, like Pepe, Dogecoin. It's really, really difficult. It's really, really difficult. So really just have fun with it. But all in all, I do think that altcoin season is finally going to start heating up into Q4. And with that, I think that it's going to be perfect timing with Cronos. And I think CROcoin's going to make some big gains. And we've been talking about price predictions for CROcoin. And I do think that $1 is on the table, especially sooner rather than later. If we start to see this altcoin season sooner rather than later, it really opens up the doors to these $1, $2, $5 potentially for CROcoin. And the reason why I say the sooner rather than later is because, yes, we are getting 70 billion coins added to the circulating supply, 1.12 billion, give or take, month over month. So the sooner this liquidity comes in, the higher the price is going to go in a shorter span of time. And I still think that regardless, the 70 billion minting of coins probably will, like what Chris Marzek said, it probably will benefit CROcoin and the holders in the long run. But in the short term, the longer it takes for that to dilute the supply, because I'm going to say it how it is. I'm going to say how it is. For the longer it takes to dilute the supply, the higher the price of CROcoin can go. And I do think $1 is on the table. I think $2 is on the table. I really do. If things get really crazy, if DJT starts to accumulate Cronos, and like what Oscar said, if there's a section underneath Trump that says CROcoin, man, we could go to that $5. Sure, why not?
I kind of want to respond on the dilution thing because I don't know what you guys think about it, by the way, but if you take a look at the new Treasury Reserve with Trump Media, they are promising, I think, 1 year lock with also a 3-year release schedule. So what I'm reading, at least at the current, if you take a look at Mintscan, you can see the actual release tokens. If they actually use like 6.3 billion and a bit more specifically for the Treasury, and they also need to use the reserve for the ETF funding, they need to use it for the ETP funding, they need to use it for all kinds of stuff. I don't see any dilution, like any actual CRO coming to the market by selling until like 2026. So for me personally, I'm actually quite bullish in the upcoming ones regarding like no sell pressure, but I don't know what you guys think about that.
I will say though, that when we were at a $5 billion market cap before the proposal went through, we were at a 20-cent CROcoin. Okay. And now we are at, what are we at? 30 cents. I see it behind your face, coin, 31 cents, right? And we're at like an 8 billion. So there was a point in time when we reached 5 billion again after the multi-billion coins were getting added to the market. And we were only at about a 16-cent CROcoin. So that is true dilution in real time. And yes, it's more than just market cap that makes up the true price of a coin. But to me, that's dilution. And I will say though that it's not that significant until we start getting to, okay, yeah, the circulating supply is quadruple what we started at, you know. But that's my piece on it.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with both of you guys there. Actually, that might sound weird, but you know, the supply is certainly something to keep in mind. If the price pumps high enough and enough money flows in the market, it can be negated. You know, if it just like insane amounts of money pour in, like even if the supply is, you know, getting affected in a negative way and it's being, you know, it's inflationary, it could still pump if enough money's there. To your point, it is a problem, Blacksea, in terms of like adding more pumpability. It adds less, but here we are, we're pumping today, regardless of that, and that we can all celebrate that. And to your point, Coin Baron, you know, that is so great. And I see a lot of people incorrectly, you know, in the comments section being like, he's going to dump it all now that he's talking about the president. He's going to dump it just like he dumped his meme coin, which like that's technically even not what happened with the meme coin, but let's not get into that whole debate. Like he can't, because the agreement is a year. To your point, there's like some kind of 3-year part to that as well. But to kind of disagree with you a little, Coin Baron, that's just that one entity, right? And then there's obviously retail and whales that are going to be buying, and they're free to sell. So there will be some sellers, obviously, but like your argument is a good one in that that's a big part of the equation. What is he going to have, like 16% of the supply when it's all said and done, or something wild like that? It's crazy. It's wild.
I was gonna say something that we have to remember too, that not because you're burning, you pump. Not because because obviously I think we all wanna, because I posted something on X, makes sense. Like CROcoin is exploding without burning billions of CRO tokens. But obviously when you're now minting back because of what we know, I get it. Reissuing, those ones, that's the right word. At the time, you know, a lot of people, and we had good long conversations with all types of different angles, right? People saying it's over. Remember the media? Remember the media? They were like, get, you know what, out of crypto.com. They are, right? It's over. FTX next 2.0. And we had other people saying, dude, chill, chill. So that's the type of people that we have, which is okay. That's crypto, right? But for those people who held, like myself and my friends here, I mean, it's super cool when you open your crop portfolio because you held the line and you're like, okay, I get it. We kind of start to see a little bit. Same happens with Ripple. Same happens with Cardano. Literally, Charles was like, I don't know why anyone would buy Bitcoin. Cardano could 100x, 1000x. That gave a massive one to all the ADA holders. When I listened to that, I'm like, did the CEO just said that we're gonna probably do 1000x? So Chris is not speaking about, because you know crypto.com is kind of picky when it comes to how to phrase things, especially price related. But they are not gonna tell us how much we're gonna pump, although they know all the juice behind the scenes. They already know who are gonna, it's gonna be the next influencer, like the next big celebrity that's gonna be pumping, you know, or pushing the next big campaign. They're gonna be like, right now, crypto.com is already working for the World Cup. Remember, everybody, next year. Remember next year, guys, we got the World Cup in the United States, and I can only imagine the impact, the campaigns. Binance will try to do something. They have Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So they for sure want to do something, but we have other stuff to play around, and it's gonna be a nice spectacle, and you just have to be a part of it, right? I agree that 2026, sometime, you know, maybe in Q4, Q3, kind of makes sense to see some. Okay, what is this? Like a big sell-off? Is this the bear market or like the start? But even before we get to that, remember what Chris and Charles and other people said. The 4-year cycle is what? Dead. The 4-year cycle is dead. They said it. They're on record.
Thank you, Oscar. You have our segue. It's our segue, dude.
Oh, really?
Expand on this, and I'm going to let you continue.
Okay, gotcha.
Is the 4-year cycle dead? Do you agree? Because this is, we want to go to broader theory now, I think, and this is a great segue. What are your thoughts on that?
Not losing the idea that I had. Everybody, if the leaders that are way above us and they are running the companies, they're making the deals, they hold the money, the treasuries, right? We're just obviously holders that we have 100,000 CRO, 50,000 CRO, a million CRO, and they're like, oh, we're so rich. They're like, hold my beer, right? I have a billion CRO, I have a billion XRP. I decide when the market dumps. I decide when the market pumps. I do it, which is okay. Like a whale sold 24,000 BTC and boom, bunch of longs got wrecked. So the level of manipulation, people will call it, is huge. And right now we're crypto.com is letting, you know, the Trump organization, whatever, to hold a bunch of CRO, which is okay, right? We love it. It's pumping. We'll see later, right, how that benefits or not, which I think it will, but the price long term, because at the end of the day, people want to make money, right? So the 4-year cycle, the way it works, that by now we should have already kind of start to see a nice rise, because we're looking at the Q4 of 2025, the year after the Bitcoin halving of 2024. It's happening, not at the speed that we wanted for altcoins, but for Bitcoin, it's actually doing well, which means in crypto, things go very fast. We could argue, say, oh, CRO is going to go to $1 in December 2024. No, sorry, 2025. No, it just jumped 300% in less than 3 days or so. Like things can go very, very, or like, you know, in the last couple of months. The point is, guys, that I believe that the 4-year cycle for us it's gonna end because of the institutional money that now we're seeing and the effect on politics, from politics, that we're seeing too. that 2025 is going to be a big macro year for the US, and 2026, it does paint the picture of we ending wars, which that is macro, big macro, that could help us to push hopefully ending, right? Not starting new, but ending. Then more cuts from the Fed, then spot ETFs, CRO and XRP and all of that, and then obviously the bull market. Like, I don't see a way where you lose money if you're just holding and accumulating and being bullish. And if 2026 is actually that continuation, yeah, for sure, the 4-year cycle now has expanded, called super cycle, and all in before it's too late.
I think
There you
that
have it from Oscar.
I think
Go ahead, Blacksea.
I think that I do agree with the fact that, like, when you have these massive institutions coming in and accumulating and creating these treasury companies, it will have an impact on the volatility. And as the asset class, crypto as a whole, gets larger and larger, it takes way more money to shift it around. I do think that the 4-year cycle still exists because that's the only data point that has been spot on cycle after cycle after cycle. And usually, if you look at the stock market as well, like the traditional market, usually after an election, the time where you have a decent sell-off or a multi-month sell-off is usually around midterms, which is the end of 2026, okay? That being said, I believe in the 4-year cycle, but I think that with all these treasury companies, all these institutions, it will be much more of a muted bear market, in the fact that you will have less of a, oh my gosh, Bitcoin 3x this year, and it'll be more of, okay, we're trading in a 50 to 80% price range, like 100,000 to 120,000, and we drop down to maybe 80,000, right? Nothing significant where it's like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's down 90% over the past year. I don't think that that is possible anymore. Now, I may eat my words, but I think with the age-old saying of it's too big to fail, I think that this is becoming that, and I think that it will be. We're already seeing mass adoption. We're already seeing the biggest institutions in the world starting to accumulate, and yeah, I get behind the idea that there still will be a 4-year cycle. There still will be bear markets. There still will be sell-offs. There still will be euphoric times. But I think it'll be much more muted as this asset class gets larger and larger.
Coin Baron?
Yeah, I mostly agree with Blacksea there. Simply said, I will be selling in Q4 of this year. It's, I think, the thing that we have seen work in previous cycles. And, every time people say this time is different. So I would like to be wrong. But I will be watching from the sidelines. So let's see. What I find dangerous, though, is that we are getting into lower interest rates. But these lower interest rates are coming for a reason, and that is more job losses mainly at least. So if that is really going to be a trend, so do you see more job losses, more companies going bankrupt, then the actual economy, and I think these days the crypto economy and like the actual economy are super linked. If they're going to be like a good decline in the stock market, in the actual economy, then I think also crypto will go down. And that might be happening in late 2026, but that's still a lot of speculation as well. Let's see if the Fed can actually help us.
I wanted to say something very quick because I'm just here next. James from Bloomberg, the ETF guy, that updates everybody when it comes to XRP ETFs and more. Look at all the crypto ETF filings out there. There are a lot of crypto ETFs filings here in the US. I'm tracking about 90 in this spreadsheet. 90. Hashdex, Grayscale, Bitwise, Bannock, Fidelity, Invesco, 21 shares, Franklin. And you're talking about XRP, Doge, Solana, Litecoin. I see Tron, Sui, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Polkadot. And I see Ondo, Basket, Chainlink, Doge. Like, guys, none of them are approved, guys.
Yeah, no, and look, this is kind of the thing I was most excited for of this conversation, because like This is the most important part of the whole thing. You want CRO to go to 5, 10, whatever. You want it to go to $2. We got to talk broader market theory. And so look at the opinions we've had so far. Oscar, I'm hearing you think late 26 we could go to, maybe more. It sounds like, yeah. And then you got Blacksea, who's kind of leaning on the 4-year cycles, talking about muted bear markets, which I do kind of agree with that. And I also hear where you're coming from, Oscar, and I would love that to happen. And then we have Coin Baron, who's laying out the idea that I'm out Q4 because that's how it goes, baby. And you know what? It has been how it's gone. And so my opinion on this one, I have a hard time, fellas, letting go of the 4-year cycle. It's all we know. And Oscar, you had a fantastic point. And the point was that you have all these giant institutions and you have all these executives from these institutions that are coming out and saying, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. And look, we love each other and we can disagree. And this is what this whole thing's about, is a debate and a conversation. And I'm going to challenge it and say, of course, that's what these executives are going to say, because at the end of the day, we got to remember too, like they're in the money of making business, or in the business of making money. If they're launching, like you said, 90 ETFs or ETPs, and we've got partnerships here, they're going to want as much volume on their exchanges, as much money flowing into their funds, and they're going to want it to last as long as possible. And so when they go on TV, if I'm going to go out and talk about my dreams and aspirations for my business, I'm going to talk about some very positive things. And the risk that I have with believing and buying in totally to the extended bull market, and some people are talking 27 and 28, the whole presidency, it's going to be a bull market. The caveat for me is like, I have a hard time trusting big businesses ever. I have a hard time trusting the talking heads on the news, even though I love Chris and I got a special place in my heart for Chris. And it gets me excited, right? When he's talking about extended cycles and it's going to keep going into 2026. Like the data that we have has said, well, 4-year cycles are a thing. And the thing that I always come back to is, a bull market lasts about 1,060, 1,070 days. And here we are again, and we're already into this thing, 1,000-ish days. So maybe coming into Q4. What happened there? I lost everybody on the screen. Coming into Q4, maybe we are coming into that blow off top, and the timing's perfect for that 4-year cycle. But I have to admit, in the back of my mind, like, what if it does keep going? What if this time it's different? I liked your point, Coin Baron. Like, well, everybody always says this time is different. It's never different. And like, yeah, it's true. And I agree with that. But like, also I'm thinking like, but what if it is different? And like, and that's what leaves me sitting. And I'm curious what your thoughts are, but like, maybe it's just worth holding that Bitcoin then.
Yeah, I like that. We talk about the overarching market theory, but what does that mean? How do you take action on that? And for me, I've always been, I take profit along the way up, but guys, I'll always hold a little bit. Like I got like you, because there's invalidations in trading. Anybody that tells you that they know exactly what's going to happen and this is like all the time, they're lying. That's not possible, because there's so many things, so many variables when it comes to trading. And that's why I will always take money on the way up and I'll leave a little bit. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I buy Bitcoin every single day, and I'm going to probably do that forever. Like I'm going to leave that to my grandkids or my great grandkids. But when it comes to like trading and like higher risk plays, like altcoins, like you got to leave a little bit, because what if that does happen? What if that really does happen? And you have, you've taken your profit and you're like, all right, I made profit. Great. So you didn't lose money. And now you have, say, 10%, 20% left. And you go, I'm going to leave it here. And then all of a sudden, 100Xs from there. You go, wow, I'm happy I didn't sell that, but I also have the profit. And that's like my strategy. I'm curious to know what you guys do. And obviously, I just try to do the same thing when we're in a bear market and we're going down. I just buy on the way down, depending on the asset and the risk level.
I love the idea of a moon bag. My personal moon bag are these cards, like a great way to leave a bit of crow in the game, get some cash back in the ban. If it's some good cash back, it's also good in the pool. But also, I think we all get comments like crow is going to $20. I don't think that crow is going to $20, by the way, but if it does, due to some magical Trump movement, or there's still the quarterly burn on the white paper of Cronos, so maybe a crazy burn, maybe there's a BNB, I don't know. If it happens, I will still have my moon bag there in case something crazy happens. So yeah, indeed, I think the moon bag is a good idea. No financial advice.
I'll say something right now to support the idea of super cycle that's gonna continue. Take a look at Google Finance stocks, right? Go to Nasdaq, go to S&P 500, Nvidia, Microsoft. It takes a while for people to understand what XRP, what Bitcoin, Ethereum is all about. Once people start getting it, and once the industry has what it needs to actually be fruitful, it just booms. So I think in the United States, we're not at the point to say, oh yeah, crypto mass adoption. We're just not. What happened in 2000, dot-com bubble, right? People were so excited about it. But in 2000, were you using the internet in 2000? No, I wasn't. I was like less than 10. So that's why we dump, because people are like, just sell this thing, garbage, internet, bad, get your emails. No, harmful, dangerous, too risky. It took till 2008, another crash, as we know. That's when Bitcoin was formed, 2009. Then from 2009, I'm watching that NASDAQ, right? 1,700 points, just went all the way passing 5,000 5 years later, and then all the way to 10,000 9 years later. And we obviously had a few corrections. But then it went 10,000 points higher about 11 years later, and now it's 20,000 or 15,000 points higher. So when technology has time to breed and feel that it's useful, and people start using it, and there's adoption, it just kind of like help it itself is just doing the growth. For us in crypto, we're nowhere even close to where the internet was. We have 5 or so billion internet users. Right now we have 500 million crypto users, let alone crypto active users, right? So this is gonna be the time when your children will tell you, where were you? Now Bitcoin is at $810,000, Ethereum is at $18,000, XRP is at $9, Crow is at $7, $5. Where were you, Dad, when we were under one? Because none of us, right? Of course, not me, comprehend when we 2x from crypto users. We're 500, 600 million right now. Not 600 million people understand what Crow is. Maybe 2% do. Increase that to 20%. Just understanding, not buying, just understanding what it is. That makes a big difference. Then 2x the crypto users to 1 billion crypto users. 1 billion crypto users. Seeing that Trump just partnered up with crypto.com, and now there's this Crow coin under $1 at 30 cents. Like, I'm not kidding, but if we keep pumping all the way till the end of the decade, I wouldn't be surprised. People will sell early, and they'll be like, but it was supposed to go down. Sometimes the outcome that you're not expecting happens.
It is a crazy moment in time, and more so than ever, I have the push and pull of, are we going with that classic 4-year cycle, or are we going Oscar Ramos decade bull mode? Let's go. I'd love to see it. I'd love to do it. We're putting out content, guys, on our channel. Coin Baron's putting out fantastic content on his channel. Oscar is doing the same. And if you enjoy these perspectives, and as you can see, they're all different perspectives, even between us on the same channel, me and Blacksea, different perspectives. it's the best way to do this game that is crypto, right? You got to go in and take that mainstream media information, take that Coin Baron, Oscar Ramos, Blacksea, and Crypto Kip information, and go get a million opinions out there and formulate one for yourselves. But I think we all agree right now, at least if you're here watching for CrowCoin, this is an awesome time for CRO. I think we would be remiss, fellas, if we didn't end this thing with a CRO 2025 price prediction. Okay, should we go around the bend? I'll start. How about I'll start this time? I'm gonna go to the penny. 2025 $2.14. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Oh man. I'm not gonna do my ifs, ands, or buts. I'm just gonna say a number. I think $1.70.
212.
I knew someone was gonna do it, and it had to be the Baron. $2.12. Nice. 2025 price prediction. Many variables, but I think in a range. I think I will answer in a range because obviously saying a price is it's obviously impossible. But I think anywhere from 90 cents. We're looking at 150. I think just being conservative, knowing that Crow might not be the greatest crypto that people will watch, but still we're gonna pump, like for us 90 to 150, right? That's gonna be like we made it, we made it a dollar, but there's gonna be sell-offs, people gonna sell whatever. So I think I feel really good at 90 all the way to 150, which if we end like that somewhere along those lines in 2025, oh man, we made it.
Now, if you guys have an opinion and you're watching this on your price prediction, on anything we debated and discussed, what an awesome conversation. We want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. I want you guys to subscribe to their channels. If you enjoyed this, you can subscribe to this channel as well. We got some affiliates in our description as always. There's a lot of bull market left. Maybe it's 70 days. Maybe it's a decade. But let us know what you could think in the comments. I think that's it, guys. What a great conversation. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Coin Baron, brother Blacksea. Good to do it. Until next time, guys, this is the Crypto Report. Thank you to the Crowcast team for coming together. We're going to try to do these monthly for you guys. Happy Crow Pump. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Take profits and to the moon. All in.
Strap in.